Om Sadashivasamharambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam. Today is Swami Chinmayananda Jayanti also, and we are able to share everything with you today, speak in front of you, talk in front of you, share the knowledge of the scriptures with you, for you as well as for ourselves, only because of His grace. If He was not there, all this would not have been possible. This understanding, this joy of the scriptures, which take us directly to ourselves, that would not have been possible. So my salutations to our Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda, and in the Guru Stotram, Mannatha Shri Jagannatha Mad Guru Shri what is that? Mannatha Shri Jagannatha Mad Guru Shri Jagadguru Madatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So that Jagannath, that Guru, and that Atma is one and the same. That Chinmayananda or any other Guru as Chinmayananda is not outside. It is part and parcel of the Atma that we are. May their blessings in our life bring us to that realization in this lifetime. Hari Om Tat Sat. Now, I have been asked to speak on our Vivekachudamani. She showed you the 2-3 books. I'm not using 2-3 books. I'm only using, but the verses. I think we will start from 251, and if anyone knows the tune, good. Otherwise, I'll try my tune. And Mrutakarya sakalam ghatadi satatam mrunmatramevahitam tadvat sajjanitam sadatmakamidam sanmatramevakhilam yasman nasti satah param kimapi tat satyam sa atma swayam tasmat tattvamasi prashantamamalam brahmadvayam yat param. The Adi Shankaracharya, who is the lineage which we belong to, Adi Shankaracharya is the lineage to which our Guru Maharaj, Anvahananji, Chinmayananji, all the Gurus belong to that, we belong to that lineage, Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam. And that same Shankaracharya here has penned all these various verses. And why did he pen down these verses? It was on the Adesh, on the instruction of Maharishi Vedvyas. And Maharishi Vedvyas, when Shankaracharya ji was at the age of 16, he was ready to give up his life because he had been told so, that at age 16, that will be his concluding year. But Maharishi Vedvyas comes and gives him another 16 years. And he says, till now you lived for yourself, now you live for the others. And in that living for the others in 16 years, what voluminous work our Adi Shankaracharya has penned down for our benefit. From one of them is this Vivekachudamani, and this is a Prakran Grantha, and whether you take this as an instruction to you or you take it as a reminder, depends upon where you are sitting in yourself. As a reminder of who you are, or as an instruction that, hey, shake up your dross, shake up your tamas, and raise yourself to this vision that is presented in the next few verses. And the first verse here says, it says, मृतकार्यं सकलं घटादि सततं मृन्मात्रमेवाहितं तद्वत् सज्जनितं सदात्मकं idam sanmatramevakhilam. And he says all the modifications of clay such as pot, etc. are accepted by the mind as real, but are in fact the clay alone. So here the classic example of clay is taken, but we can take also the water, we can also take the gold, we can take the clay also. And what is this? That all the modifications of clay. What are the modifications of clay? The various the pots which are made out of clay. And when a pot is broken, clay is not broken. That pot can be becomes dust again, becomes clay again, and it can be remolded into another form. And but what happens to our in our mind when we look at this world? This body is also a pot, and we live in the fear of destruction of this pot. Instead, our attention should be on the constant principle which is pervading this pot. What is the constant principle which is pervading the pot? If it is made or it is broken and it is made again, that constant principle is the clay. Similarly, the constant principle behind all the ornaments is the gold. Also, the constant principle behind the coming and going of the waves is the water. So, Adi Shankaracharya ji is telling us that our mind accepts these forms as real out of delusion, but actually all this is nothing but the clay. In your case, when you take it subjectively, what is the clay within you or clay in you? Is it the body? If the pot from inside and outside is nothing but clay, what are you inside and outside? Are you the mind inside and the form outside? Hands, legs, senses, etc.? What are you? Here, the clay within us, if we want to compare it, it will be the conscious principle. We are that Atma. The material of Atma alone has gone into making this form. And when this form, what is the nature of this form, of this pot called body? Manifestation and unmanifestation. The body changes. It has been changing from childhood till today. Every day it is changing, but we are living in the delusion that this body is continuous and it's the same body which was there yesterday, which was there day before yesterday, which was there 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. No, 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 no. The form has, the nature of the form is necessarily change. And you are essentially the changeless. And what does this mind do? This mind superimposes the changeless principle, the changeless essence out of itself and superimposes it on the forms, and thus lives in the delusion that I am the body, and lives in fear, lives in anxiety, lives in expectation, lives in the fear of death, etc. Here, the teacher, Adi Shankaracharya, is bringing us bringing our attention to the constant principle, that which is. I will not even, we can say that constant principle is Sat. But here you take it subjectively. You are the Sat, you are the Chit, you are the Anand. As the Atma. It is the material of this Satchidanand that has gone into the making of the various pots. So what is in our, somewhere in this also it might come, how is the creation talked about? Asti Bhati Priya Nama Roop. Asti Bhati Priya is nothing but Sat Chit Anand. And Nama Roop is the Jagat. Nama Roop is the world. And this, but that Nama Roop is the changing principle. Asti Bhati Priya is the changeless principle. See? But the matter of the fact is that everything is nothing but that one which is appearing as a Nama Roop. Everything is nothing but clay, but appearing as the Nama Roop, name and form of the pot. Everything is the gold, but appearing as the name and form of various ornaments, and so on. This shift in our vision has to come about, but for that vision to shift, first understanding must come about, first conviction must come about, and therefore here he says, Mrutakarya sakalam ghatadik satatam mrunmatramevabhitaha tadvat sanjanitam sadatmakam idam sanmatramevakhilam. Then he continues in the second line, Yasmannasti sata param kimapi tat satyam sa atma swayam tasmat tattvamasi prashantamamalam brahmadvayam yat param. Yasmannasti, he says that so too the entire universe which emanates from Brahman is Brahman alone and nothing other than Brahman, the self-existent reality and one's very own. That same infinite Brahman, when it is accessed or accepted as the consciousness within the parameters of this body, it is called Atma. For our communication purpose. Actually, from Brahman's point of view, there are no variety of Atmas. A female Atma, a masculine Atma, an animal Atma. Just as from our point of view, there is no different spaces. Toilet space, bathroom space, bedroom space, lounge space. No, space is space. Your attention is on the walls and therefore you are giving it different names. Similarly here, from the Brahman's point of view, there is nothing other than Brahman. From the clay point of view, there is nothing other than clay. From the gold point of view, there is nothing other than gold. Yesterday this example came, that in the dream, the whole dream world is created out of the mind. Mind is essentially consciousness. Consciousness with thoughts is called mind. Mind without thoughts is called consciousness. Out of that consciousness, now the dream has emanated, has been projected. Now that consciousness with the projection is called mind. But where has that projection come out from? That projection has come out from the mind alone, meaning the consciousness alone. Where is it existing? In the consciousness. Where is it merging back? Into the consciousness. So that consciousness / mind alone is the material cause of everything and being in the dream. The same consciousness / mind is the efficient cause of everything and being in the dream. Every thought, every life, every past, everyone's future, everyone's birth, everyone's death, everyone's digestion, everyone's burp, everyone's listening, everyone's emotions, everyone's thoughts is nothing but our mind alone / consciousness alone. If we contemplate on this one fact, which is your experience on every night, and see that this waking world is also nothing but that same consciousness when expressing with the variety, the mind, it is the mind. But this world is not outside us. This world is not outside the Brahman. If we say Brahman, it is outside Brahman, then Brahman becomes an objective. There is some principle called Brahman. No, that Brahman alone you are. So here we can take it as an instruction, or we can take it as a statement of fact that you are that principle from which everything emanates, everything stays, and everything goes back. You are the changeless one, just as the Brahman is the changeless one, Atma is the changeless one. It is our very own nature. It is our very own essential self. Tattvamasi, you are that unchanging principle, which is of the nature of Advaita, which is of the nature of non-duality, which is the supreme Brahman or consciousness. All these verses which are going to come, I don't know how many, I have been asked to take only a few. We can't take all of them anyway. But these are pointers to meditation. Take this thought and sit with yourself. And instead of thinking that I am not the constant principle, that I am the changing, I am the body, I am the old one, I am the born one, I am going to die, instead take the position of being the consciousness and think from the consciousness point of view as given in this verse, as we have explained just now. Very quickly, the mind will calm down. There is no answer for it. When you contemplate in this manner, there is no answer. Answer is sought by the individual. Answer is sought by the trapped consciousness, if I want to use that word, or conditioned consciousness, who is considering I am only this body, breath, mind, intellect equipment. But you are contemplating on, you are the constant one, you are the infinite one, that you are the material and the efficient cause of the whole projection. That projection, not only of in the dream it is easy to work out, but also the projection of this waking world. How is it? In that taking the position of being the source, being the material, being the creator, everything starts melting away. The individual who was trying to look for answers dissolves. Just like the waker who was looking for thinking of sleep, the waker dissolves in sleep. Exactly the same way. The waker here, the individual, the seeker, he dissolves in this contemplation. Purpose is achieved. The goal was to be the non-dual Brahman, to be the non-dual Atma, to be the constant one. Take this verse and dive into yourself. Nidra kalpita desha kala vishaya Nyatradi sarvam yatha Mithya tadvidaha pi jagrati jagat Swajnana karyatvatah Yasmad devamidam sharira karana Pranahamadhyapyasat Tasmat tattvamasi prashantamamalam Brahmadvayam yatparam. He says, just as Nidra Kalpita, just as projected in the dream, Desha is the place, Kala is the time, Vishaya is the objects, Nyatradi, the knower, Sarvam is all. Yatha, just as. So here the example that is taken, just as the place, time, objects, their knower, etc. in a dream are all unreal, here, see what I took before, it's looking at it totally from the opposite point. So we'll look at this also. So too is the world we experience in our waking state is projected due to our own ignorance. Since the body, the organs, the vital breath, the ego, etc. are also thus unreal, therefore thou art that, the serene, the pure, the supreme, Brahman, the non-dual. In simple, one way of looking at these verses is as neti neti. I am not conditioned by space, I am not conditioned by time, I am not conditioned by objects, I am not conditioned by triputi, I am not conditioned by dream or waking, I am not conditioned by desh, kal, vastu, etc. etc. I am not, I am not, I am not, I am not, I am not. And when nothing is left to be I am not, there you are. You are established. But so because this is a prakrangan, this is one way of looking at it. And as I was explaining in the previous verse, I am looking at it from not bottom top. I am looking at it from top bottom. I am not looking at the sun. I am not looking at the sun. I am looking as the sun, I am looking at the experience. From the sun's point of view, there is no day and night. From the sun's point of view, there is no flux of days and nights happening. The self is self-illuminating. The sun is self-illuminating. The sun is self-existing. All other planets are dependent on the sun. Day and night is dependent on the sun. So either I say, I am not the planets, I am not the night, I am not the day, I am the sun. Or the other option is, I take the position of the sun and I look out. What do I see? I see I alone am. Because the bright light of the sun is, in that light, nothing else is cognizable as separate. So if this light of the sun is so bright in which we can't see anything else, imagine the light of the self. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. It is that light which is illumined. The light of the sun is illumined by our eyes. The eyes are illumined by the mind. The mind is illumined by the consciousness. How bright that must be? It's just a way of looking at it. If we want to go into meditation, if we say, I am not, I am not, I am not, I am not, the result of that is meditation. Result of that is nirvikalpa samadhi. Result of that is a mind free of all objectivity. But we have studied so much, we have contemplated so much, we have listened to so many Mahatmas that we feel, and our experience also tells us that when I delete something, it leads to nothingness, but it is not so. When I delete everything out of habit, what happens to us? We go to sleep. That also is not desirable. Okay, we accept that we are the Atma, but then we think we are the Atma only in this body and that is possible only in meditation. No. Therefore, we are taking the position of from the top to bottom. When we take the position of the top, meaning I am the supreme consciousness, I am the non-dual consciousness, from that point, there is no space, there is no time, there are no objects, there is no triputi. So when he just as place, time, objects, there, nowhere, etc. in a dream are all unreal. Why? Because the moment we wake up, they are all null and void. They become zero. Not only you as the knower of the dream or the dreamer, but also all the other ones which were projected in the dream. The space, fire, water, earth, the elements, the trees, the rivers, the mountains, everything becomes zero. And this is our experience. So what happened to the dream? In the dream, the whole dream world became manifest. And when you woke up, the whole dream world became unmanifest. Will you get another dream tonight? Maybe, maybe not, but certainly, if not tonight, tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, maybe for only 1 second, maybe only for 2 minutes, whatever. But dreams, majority people do dream. Is it the same dream every time? No. And because we do not give it a status of reality, if it was the status of reality, then the food that I have eaten in the dream would have satisfied the hunger in the waking. That does not happen. So the moment we wake up from that projected dream, from that illusory dream, we give it zero value. Adi Shankaracharya is prompting us, prodding us, wake up to your true nature. Sadhana can be done only in the waking. You have to be awake. And when we do this sadhana, when we do this contemplation in the waking, of being the substratum, of being the constant one, of being the changeless one, at that very moment, the projected world of the waking, we think it is real because we have invested in it. But the moment we wake up, it goes back to being unmanifest. Just like in sleep, it goes back to being unmanifest. So here it says, so too is this world we experience in our waking state is projected due to our own ignorance. So ignorance about what? Ignorance of our own essential nature. Once you come to know your essential nature, will the projection of the world stop? Yes, it will stop for you, but it will not stop for others. Others will still see your body. Others will still see you walking. Others will still see you asking for food. Others will still see the Mahatmas as giving lectures. But for that Mahatma, he is established in that non-dual reality. Because he is established in the non-dual reality, there is no question of ignorance/darkness. He has freed himself from the clutches of ignorance. Our Jnaneshwar Maharaj says, ignorance is nothing but incomplete knowledge. So what was incomplete knowledge? That knowledge which is cultivated objectively is called incomplete knowledge. That knowledge which accepts that I am the body, breath, mind, intellect, that is incomplete knowledge. What is complete knowledge? That aham satchidanandoham, aham brahmasmi. And therefore, here it says in the second line of the verse, yasmadevamidam sharira karana pranahamadhyapyasat tasmat tattvamasi prashantamamalam brahmadvayam yat param. So beautiful. Then he says that since the body, the organs, the vital breath, the ego, etc. are also thus unreal, why they are unreal? The body is continuously changing, the organs are continuously sometimes healthy, sometimes unhealthy, the breath is continuously changing, going in and out. The ego also sometimes is the waking ego, sometimes the dream ego. And whatever is changing, in Vivekachudamani, in the beginning, you must have seen what is the qualification of a seeker. How does he prepare for himself? Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti and Mumukshutvam. And what is Vivek? Distinction between, he is able to discriminate between the real and the unreal, the permanent and the impermanent, the changing and the changeless and the changing, the infinite and the finite, the constant and the changing. And thus he comes to see that everything that he has considered, the seeker, he comes to this conclusion that everything that he has considered himself to be, the body, the organs, the vital breath, the ego, etc., they are all changing. And when he sits down with a cup of tea and starts contemplating, he realizes that all these are changing, but I don't feel I have changed. Every one of us feels that way. We are the witness of all the change. And when we define ourselves with reference to the change, then a personality comes about. But if we observe the change only as the change and be the constant one, be the witnessing consciousness, then the Mahatma, the Adi Shankaracharya here says, that witnessing consciousness, thou art, you are that constant one, you are that unchanging one, you are that serene one, you are that supreme one, you are that pure Brahman, the non-dual Brahman. Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. The student, when he listens to the teacher's declaration in this manner, merely by listening, he is transported. The mind transported, I shouldn't use the word transport, you can say transported to the reality that he is, or that mind which is objectively listening to the words of the Adi Shankara in their contemplation, somewhere by the grace of the scriptures, by the grace of the Guru, by the grace of the Lord, suddenly becomes introvert. And the moment it makes a U-turn within the mind, at that very moment it dissolves. When the mind dissolves, that very moment all objectivity dissolves. When all objectivity dissolves, what remains is you alone. What remains is the consciousness alone. What remains is the non-dual reality alone. This is the vision, this is the contemplation that Adi Shankaracharya has placed as a smorgasbord in front of us. All these verses that are the following verses also. Take one, any one of them, and lose yourself. Nothing to achieve, nothing to run away from. Merely listen. And while listening, discover that while listening, you don't have to stop listening. You don't have to stop walking. You don't have to stop doing anything. All that has to happen is recognition. Recognition that the nature of the body is changed, the nature of the senses is changed, the nature of the mind or of the thoughts is changed, the nature of the waker, dreamer, sleeper is changed, and the knower of all this change, I am. And who am I? Why should I ask who I am? I am the consciousness, I am the Supreme Brahman. I am the uncorrupted one, giving. In my presence, all this change comes and goes. So it seems. When you look at the dream, yes, dream happened, but it was unreal. So also this waking is unreal. Our ignorance, how does it express? Just going back to the ignorance expresses as our inability to live a complete life. What is that inability to live complete life? We are living, yesterday this thought came, we are living only 1/3 of our life. Our whole experience of a day, 24 hours, is waking, dream, deep sleep, meditation. If we meditate. If not, only waking, dream, deep sleep. The 3 avasthas. And in that 3 avasthas, we are taking 1/3 called the waking, and we have invested everything into it, and we are taking it to be real, and we are struggling hard to live our life. We are carrying the load of the body. With the body, we are carrying the load of everything, all that is attached to this body. Not only possessions and relations, but also the birth, the memories, the fear of death, etc. All this is the load that we are carrying. We don't carry that load in the dream. The moment you wake up, all that, see what is happening in the dream. Once you wake up, you give it zero value. You can't even remember the face of your wife or husband or children. You can't even remember how you look like after you wake up, meaning in the dream. So is true about this world. This whole waking world is nothing but a projection from one point. And the previous verse I told you, from the point of the Supreme, only Supreme is. Ignorance cannot exist in the Supreme Brahman. Otherwise there will be two existences. One is the existence of Brahman and the other is existence of ignorance. That is not possible, that is not accepted, that is not, it is not possible by logic also. Yeah, what is the tune for this? Yatra bhrantya kalpita tadviveke tattanmatram naiva tasmat vibhannam swapne nashtam swapna vishvam vichitram swasmat bhinnam kinnu drishtam prabodhe. I don't know the tune. Yatra bhrantya kalpita tadviveke tattanmatram naiva tasmat vibhinnam swapne nashtam swapna vishvam vichitram swasmat bhinnam kinnu drishtam prabodhe. In this verse he says, that which is wrongly supposed to exist in something is when the truth about it is known. What is the truth about it? Here it says what? Yatra bhrantya kalpita tad viveke. When discrimination comes, then all the imaginations born out of delusion, bhrantya. What is the delusion? Delusion is of the intellect. The intellect, it's told in our, Dakshinamurti Stotram. There it comes as Stri, Balan, Andha, Jada. These are the 4 deluded people taken as. There, Stri means these are the 4 types of intellect. This only a teacher can tell. If you read that, you will say, oh, why discrimination towards the woman? That is not the point. How can Dakshinamurti be discriminating against anyone? But there are enough stupid people who think that way. And therefore, Stri means that who is under the influence of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, and a person who is under the influence of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas is necessarily emotional. And when the person is emotional, there they don't want to accept the infinite principle as the subjective. They want to have relationship. they want to, and in that wanting to have relationship, in order to feel the emotions, to feel, to have the bhav, to cry, to have horripulations, to see the beautiful statue or the still, such people, emotional, for them Vedanta is not possible. For such people, for them, give them a form of the Lord, give them a statue of the Lord, give them a picture of the Lord, and put in front of their eyes in meditation. You are sitting in their lap and the Lord is caressing you, and you are looking at the beautiful smiling face of the Lord, and their mukti is only sarupya, salokya, sayuja, only that type of mukti is possible. Self-realization is not possible. But then the second type is Bala. Bala is the second type of intellect. What is that? Undeveloped intellect. The possibility of the child who does not know what is right and wrong, who does not know if he should eat with hands or eat with spoon, he can be trained. He can be trained into physics, mathematics. He can be trained into the chanting of the scriptures, understanding the scriptures as the child grows. So the possibility of development is there. So second type of intellect is not the emotion. First was emotional. For them, the formless, attributeless reality, they will never understand it. Remember, we are in Vedanta. Shankaracharya is giving the commentary. Advaita Vedanta. The second one is undeveloped intellect of a child, or we are the child, we are the seeker, our intellect is undeveloped, and if we become available to a teacher, to the scriptures, to the Lord, possibility of development is there, and getting the correct assessment of who we are is possible under the right tutelage. Then the third is the Andha. The third type of intellect is the Andha, the blind one. And who are these? See, these are all the angles of approach of the intellect. And these are the logicians. Who are they? That they refuse to accept the Shastra Pramana, and therefore they are called blind. And what are the Shastra Praman? The Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutras. They are not ready to accept the logic that is presented, and they have their own logic to prove. And sometimes they are so obstinate that even when everything is placed in front of them, still no. Mandan Mishra, who was debated by Adi Shankaracharya, see, logical thinking, the Vaisheshikas are also having logical thinking, the Bauddhas are also having logical thinking. In all paths there is logical thinking. But in this Andha, in this type of intellect, if we are that type, what happens is we want to think logically, but we don't want to think logically according to the scriptures, because we don't want the scriptural pramana. If the scriptures are saying, the Upanishads are saying Tattvamasi, and you have to realize Aham Brahmasmi, they say no, there is nothing called Aham Brahmasmi. There is nothing there. There is Shunya. So in this manner, they are missing the Jnana Chakshu, which is opened up by the study of scriptures. See? And the fourth, there it is told as Jada. Jada means the retarded intellect. So one was emotional intellect. This is, we are talking about Bhranti, why it comes about. These are the four types of Bhranti, means the four types of intellect which are under these four different delusions. They are unable to understand the subtle, the subjective truth that is presented in the scriptures. The fourth one is Jada. Jada means the retarded intellect. And what is this retarded intellect? It is the unintelligent intellect, and for some reason everything it is dull, it is unintelligent, and the on one hand the bala, meaning the undeveloped intellect, can be developed, but in the Jada intellect, in the gross intellect, it remains undeveloped. There is no possibility of development. It is completely under the influence of tamas. Jada means tamas. No possibility. Yeah, maybe grace someday, yeah. But in in such people we see all around us, what are they? That people are physically developed, but mentally, intellectually, they are still retarded, still perverted, still fixated. They are not ready. Even after listening to a satsang, even after going through the various scriptures, I'm not talking about you, I'm making a general statement, that even after all this exposure, the moment class gets over, they go back to their old ways. And what is that? Aham dehosmi, and everyone associated with the deha, that is the reality. And what is the scripture saying? Tattvamasi, you are that infinite reality. So we saw the Bhranti. The Bhranti first is the emotional intellect. Whatever logic it can present, it does not want to think that it is the source. Second is the undeveloped intellect. There is a possibility, because it is childlike. Childlike is innocent, but it cannot discriminate what is right and wrong. But improvement is possible. But even that childlike intellect is incapable, is incapable of understanding or being subjective. The third is the andha. Andha is the blind intellect, which is not ready to accept the scriptures as the praman. And lastly is the jada intellect, that intellect which does not have any possibility of improvement. And such jada intellect is totally under the influence of the tamas, and Duryodhan said, I know what is right and what is wrong, but I don't know why I only behave in this way. So are you like that? Or are we like that? That even after talking on scriptures day in and day out, are still attached to the body, still attached to the, not able to discriminate, to reach the to be the conclusion. And in this way, our yatra bhrantya kalpita tad viveke, when there is no discrimination between the real and the unreal, and why is that not possible? Because of the bhranti. Bhranti is of the intellect in these four ways, and when one is locked into any of these four types of intellect, he starts kalpita, he starts imagining, he starts projecting. Tat tanmatra naiva tasmad vibhinnam. And what is that? Such an intellect, then that which is wrongly supposed to exist in something, that which is wrongly supposed to exist in something is when the truth about it is known, recognized as nothing other than the substratum and not at all any different from it. The diverse dream universe appears and subsides in the dream itself. On waking, does it appear as something different from one's own essential mind? I took it in the first verse itself, but here this is the way we have to contemplate that are we are we ready to wake up in the waking? We know how to wake up from the dream, meaning it happens and we give it zero value. Here also in the waking, many times waking up is happening because you are of the nature of eternity. You are of the nature of the eternal consciousness. You are the eternal witness. But making believe because of one of those types of intellect to think that I am a seeker, I am not the Brahman, I am a body, I am not the Brahman, I have to do sadhana, I am not the Brahman, I have to do so many things to be completed, I have to do my duty towards my parents, towards my children, towards the society. If I don't do it, who will do it? Will the world not go to dogs? What happened to the world in the dream? Did it go to dogs? It went back to where it came from. This world will also go back to where it came from. You sort out yourself. You sort out yourself. And in this way, so what is wrongly supposed to exist? The name and form. And that name and form, it is existing. Name and form is only the adjective. What is the constant principle? The isness. When we look at the whole world and come to this conclusion that everything in this world is, and the whole world is because I am. This I am and the isness of the world is one and the same. I can see the form, but I can't see the isness. I suss it out. I intuit it. I know that everything is. I'm seeing the name and form, but I know everything is. I see this form and I know I am alive. But what does alive mean? What does consciousness mean? I don't know. Is it really that you don't know? See, in this room, the light is coming. And there is sunlight also coming from there. And there is some sunlight coming inside on the wall, and it is making the wall bright. Only one corner of it. So is it that only where that bright spot of sunlight is, the sunlight is falling, or the entire wall is being illuminated by the sunlight also? Can you see the other general sunlight? No. What are you able to see? Only that specific light which is falling on the wall. Or if I put my hand out of the door, it will fall on my hand. Arey yaar, yes, there is sunlight. But now in this room, there is sunlight also. Can you see the general light? No. But in that light alone, you are cognizing the whole world. That general light, that general consciousness, that infinite consciousness, I am. So, the entire experience, whether it is waking, dream, deep sleep, whether it is the Triputi, it comes, stays and disappears, and it is something other than the consciousness that I am. Just as, now this is the pointer given to us to meditate upon, and what is that? Just as the dream comes, stays and disappears, but upon waking, I give it zero value. Similarly, when I wake up from this waking dream, this world which appeared, which stayed and disappears, there will be no entanglement in it. Will not be hooked into it. And in this way, we come to the next verse. Here it says, these are the, I took the previous two, I think they were the preparatory verses for the verses that are coming, which are called aids to meditation. But they were equally good. Jati niti kulayo gotra duragam nama rupa guna dosha varjitam desha kala vishayati vartiyat brahma tattvasi bhavayatmani. Some tune somewhere wrong, I don't know. I've not chanted this for a long time. So what is this? Jati niti kula gotra duragam nama rupa guna dosha varjitam. Just by listening to these words itself, the mind is transported. What is this Brahman? What is this Brahma Tattva Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani? What is that constant principle? What is that Atmic principle? What is that substratum, the unchanging substratum, which is the Nimitta Karan and the Upadan Karan of everything? For explanation purposes only. From its point, it is neither the Upadan, neither the Nimitta. From Advaita Vedanta point of view. So what is it? It is that in which there is no jati, no niti, no kula, no gotra, and there is no, and it is beyond all this. That Brahman, that Atma, it has got no caste. Caste, your caste, jati, pashu jati, manushya jati, vruksha jati. It is not Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. They are called varnas. Jati means species. There are no different varieties in this Brahman. It is homogeneous mass of Satchidanand. Then jati niti, there is no creed, there is no family or lineage. What is the family? Family, who are you? I am the son of my parents. Who are the parents? They are the children of their parents. And for when people are caught up in this, then the Shraddh has to be done, the remembrance, every year the Shraddh, every month the Shraddh, till both the parents go away, then Moksha Shraddh. The more we keep thinking about the cause of our existence as our parents, we are not available to the consciousness that we are. We are still reinforcing again and again and again that I am from this, I am a product of my parents. Attention straight away goes to the body consciousness. Impossible to transcend if we keep insisting that I am a product of my parents. That means we are not accepted. We are studying, we are talking, but we are not accepted that we are the infinite pure consciousness. Other than it, nothing is. Or the lineage. Yes, lineage is important. Sadashiva Samarambam, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Yande Guru Paramparam. We also chant it. But a time must come. a moment in our existence in this life must come where we talk about it, but see this entire lineage, this whole parampara, and we transcend it. Not see, we transcend it. Because as long as it's a parampara, it's best. If you take family parampara, then you are stuck in that. If you take the Shankaracharya parampara, there is a possibility of liberation. But if I continue to insist, this is my father, this is my mother, and these are the doshas and these are the gunas which have come into me. I am a product of my parents, so therefore I don't know when it will happen, how will it will happen. We all go through that. Better than that is called initiation. When that initiation is done, then we are told, you are not the product of your family, you are now the product of the sampradaya. You give up your body-oriented family, and now you accept the knowledge-oriented family, which has started from Sadashiva Samarambham. And as we study and as we understand and as we get the clarity of the thoughts that have been propagated in that lineage, in that Shankaracharya lineage, slowly, as we are doing here right now, we transcend the lineage also. Because even that lineage is a projection of the mind, of the consciousness. We are not rejecting it, we are transcending it. We are not saying it is not. No, we are. Scriptures are also, we are accepting it. But the purpose of scriptures is not to give them validity. The purpose of lineage is not to feel proud and connected. No, the purpose of lineage is, as Shankaracharya transcended the lineage, as other masters, Hastamalaka, Karamlavat, when he was invited, when he came to Adi Shankaracharya, he says, who are you? He says, I am that who is giving life to this body. I am that who is expressing as the light from the senses, and so on. And Shankaracharya named him Hastamalaka, the one who knows the truth like the gooseberry in his hand, in his palm. So he is talking about body, breath, mind, intellect, everything, but his attention is very clear that he is the pure consciousness. How long will this dialogue be like that? As long as this body is functioning, it will be like that. Very rare few people are there who go beyond body consciousness in this lifetime. And what is this Brahman? Here it says in this verse, Desha Kala Veshayati Vartiyad. That it is that which is beyond, transcendental, or within which there is no distinction of Desha Kala Vastu, space, time, and objectivity, which is without name and form, which is without merit and demerit, which is beyond space, time, and sense objects. We are Kula was, I am from the Brahmana Kula, I am from the Kshatriya Kul. Gotra, I am from Parashar Gotra or Vashishta Gotra or Bharadwaj Gotra or Atri Gotra. It's enough. All that is only reinforcing body identification. Get out of it. Get out of the space, time, and sense object. You are the master of space, time, and objectivity. If you consider yourself to be a slave of the space, a product who has popped up in this space there is sun and the 9 planets which are moving around, and then you say, I have to check my astrological chart, is it the right time to begin the lecture? At what particular time is auspicious for me to conclude the lecture? Is it the right time to go out of the house? Some people in India are doing this every day. They listen to these fellows, half-cooked fellows, and they are all on the channels. If Modi will be the next Prime Minister, whether there will be a pralay, all the planets are showing that there is going to be a huge earthquake in the Himalayas. There is going to be a third world war. Doomsday. What happened? Remember when Y2K came? The whole world was going, the world is coming to an end. The millennia is concluding. What happened today? After 22, 23 years, we are still hale and hearty, enjoying our matar paneer. Doomsday thinking. No. Let the phenomena continue. You cannot stop it. You cannot stop the sun, the phenomena of a rainbow to come and not come. You cannot stop the phenomena of the mirage waters to appear or not appear. And even if you know mirage is a water which cannot be drunk, it will still appear. But what is your attitude towards it? Can you collect the mug of water or the bucket of water from it? Can you drink and quench your thirst from it? Can you swim in it? Can you boat in it? Can you use that water for irrigation? Why? You know it is only an illusion. Illusion is always born under set circumstances. And what is that circumstance that the illusion or phenomena of this world has come about? Those parameters are space, time, and objectivity. For a mirage water, it is the earth, the sun rays at a particular angle when the earth has heated up to a particular level. Then only the mirage waters will come. They will not come in the morning, they will not come in the evening, they will come when the earth is at its hottest. Similarly, when space, time, and objectivity comes about, then the whole world appears. When that space, time, and objectivity is absent, then you are in sleep. We are saying, Shankaracharya is saying, you are that pure consciousness which is beyond the space, time, objectivity. Except, why do you insist that you are a product of space, time, and objectivity? And therefore, what does it say? Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Do this bhav. What has been told in this verse? Do this bhav. Bhav happens. There is bhav and anubhav. Bhav is incomplete knowledge, anubhav is direct experience. Bhav is objective, anubhav is direct, is subjective. If we have not come to the subjective experience yet, at least do the bhav. That you are Brahman, that you are the unchanging one, that you are the constant one. And as we keep thinking about it, one day will come that the anubhav will also happen. You functioning in your life as a wife or a husband or a brother or a sister, all these are bhav only. You are the man or the woman, but doing the bhav of some role with a reference to something, someone or something. So here we are taking reference not of space, time, and objectivity. We are taking the reference of the self, reference of the Brahman, which is infinite. It is something which mind cannot comprehend. Yet to that mind, the words, the idea is presented so that in the contemplation of that, the mind transcends. Mind cannot understand. I have told you that in a particular circumstance, the mirage waters come. But still, why can't I can see it, but why can't I drink it? This is objective. Now it will only lead to frustration. Wise man is he who knows this is an illusion. Now take it one step further. A really wise man knows that this whole world is only an illusion, meaning it is existing in its own absence, meaning it is born under certain set of circumstances, meaning that it cannot appear without the substratum. And that substratum, I am. He says, meditate on with this bhav in your mind that you are the one. Tattvamasi bhavaya. What is that? Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. See how beautiful these verses are. Each one of them transports us back to our essential nature. In fact, again and again, we repeat these verses, we do the bhavana of these verses, and ere long we will dissolve and be what is being that Brahma Tattvamasi, what that word means. Not just do the bhav, it will convert itself into experience by grace. It's not something that you can achieve. It's not something that you can create. The teacher, the scriptures say Tattvamasi. The student says Aham Brahmasmi. But even that Aham Brahmasmi is an objective answer until unless he does not do bhavayatmani. He does not take in and contemplate on that Aham Brahmasmi will remain only a thought in his mind, completely convinced at the intellectual level, but having no experience. Having experience of that once and for all means what? That in and through all the time you are ever aware of that conscious principle and you don't talk about it. Just like you are in and through aware that you are the body. But do you talk that you are the body? You never talk that. Do you keep saying, Aham Brahm, Aham the body, Aham Dehosmi, Aham Dehosmi, Aham Dehosmi, Aham Dehosmi. I am the Indriyas, I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am the Panchakoshas. You don't keep repeating. So when the bhava converts into anubhav, then it becomes your natural state. Then there is no repetition, then there is no meditation. You are continuously, it's called sahaja bhava. Sahaja means natural. It is your most natural state. You cannot fall down from it thereafter. Such masters, they move through this world but are ever immersed in their self. Everything is going on, but their attention is, I shouldn't even use the word their attention. They are ever being the consciousness. They are just the witness of everything that is going on. They know what they are witnessing is also nothing but that Brahman. Aha. There is no division between inside and outside thereafter. There is no difference between the space within the room and space outside the room. For that, we need to abide in this wholesome, homogeneous experience of the Satchidanand Swarup that we are. We have to go beyond the Jati Niti Kula Gotra Duragam Nama Rupa Guna Dosha Varjitam Desha Kala Vishayati Vartiyad Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. We'll just take. Amma, is that enough or one more? Hello?
What's the time now? 5 to 12, is it?
Ah.
5 minutes is there. So
Oh.
You can take a small.
Okay. Yat param sakalavaga gocharam gocharam vimala bodha chakshushaha shuddha chiddhanamanadi vastuyad brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. He says, so each one, what is this what is this Brahman? This Brahman is that which is beyond the range of speech. Na vak gacchati, na chakshu gacchati. It is that where the speech cannot reach. Na manaha. See? Oh, what is that verse from Taittiriya Upanishad? No, from Taittiriya Upanishad. The speech cannot correct. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Here it is told that it is beyond the range, because speech is the mind thinks that thought gets grossified as speech, and speech is inert. Speech is a product of ignorance. See, ignorance alone is expressing as manasa vacha kaya. That which is a child of ignorance, that which is, ignorance is the cause, manasa vacha kaya is the effect. How can that which is a child of ignorance reveal that which is beyond ignorance? So here it is told that this Supreme Brahman is beyond the range of speech, beyond the capacity of the speech to illuminate it. Even the mind cannot comprehend it, because the mind is, remember, what is mind? Consciousness with a virus of objectivity is called mind. And speech is nothing but grossified mind. It is incapable of illuminating the reality. Then what are we doing, sir? Are we not using the words? Are we not reading the scriptures? Are all the verses that you are reading are not the nothing but words? Yes, they are. But you have to go beyond them. Our scriptures are the only ones in the entire creation which say that you have to give us up also. Tyage naike amritatva manashu. Give up does not mean that you stop studying. Give up means recognize that everything that the scriptures are talking about is your essential nature. That the game, the leela that is going on, that leela is that one reality alone became the student and the teacher, and we have accepted that we are the individual consciousness. Naturally, if you want to be the infinite consciousness, some transformation has to come about. How does transformation come? First, have correct conviction, have some guidance. Where will that guidance come from? It will come from a teacher. Where will he teach from? He will teach from the scriptures. But who wrote the scriptures? I don't want to follow someone, Tom, Dick, and Harry, who wrote something. No, no, no. The scriptures themselves came from the reality which reality? From the Ishvara. It is the breath of the Lord. It's the breath of the Ishvara. Why did he do it? To guide idiots like us. He is playing a game. We are taking it seriously. The moment we realize Brahma Tattvamasi I am, then everything is a game for us. We see the whole, we interact with the whole world as that Ishvara does. And what is that? How does he move through the world? He considers everything as I. He doesn't consider everything. He knows he alone is. So he's not affected by anything that by the phenomena. But here, if we take it from a seeker's point of view, that supreme reality which is beyond the range of speech, yat param sakalavag gocharam, sakalavag, from all the speech. Which are the different speeches? Vaikari madhyama pashyanti para. It is beyond. Gocharam vimala bodha chakshushaha. And it can be illumined or it can be known only through the eye of the what is that? Vimala. Vimala is that which is absolutely pure understanding, which that intellect in which there is no corruption, in that intellect in which there is no distinctions, that intellect in which there is no objectivity, no sense of otherness, that bodh or that intellect is the Vimala. That is the Jnana Chakshu, that is the intuitive knowledge. And another way to put that intuitive knowledge is, reality is not a result of intuition. Because of reality, the intuition comes about. But what happens is, we think something, we feel something, we act something in life. Like the air hostess. Outside, all smiles. Inside, resentment. These idiots are coming, I have to serve them. But so there is a division there. So what is this Jnana Chakshu? This third eye, if you want to call it, or Divya Chakshu? It is when the mind and the intellect integrate, synchronize. What you think is what you feel. When this happens, some new transformation comes. And that transformation is this Bodha Chakshushaha. And with that, with the eye of illumination, which is pure mass of consciousness. See, I'll give you an example. If it's a gross example, but if it works, it works, if you understand. And what is that? The sun is reflecting on the mirror. Similarly, that sun, the infinite consciousness, is reflecting on the mirror of our mind. If that mirror is dirty, is having a fog, I cannot see the entirety of the reflection. We know the entirety, that the reflected sun in the mirror is nothing but a complete reflection. The orb of the sun is there, the light of the sun is there, the effulgence that the original sun has, this reflected sun also has. But because there is corruption of dust or fog or steam, because of that, the light, the reflected light, appears to be influenced by the mala. Here the word used is vimala. But when that integration takes place, the the steam or the dust has been removed, which was not there in the first place. The reflection is complete. When the reflection is complete, then do you consider yourself to be the mirror, or do you consider yourself to be the conscious principle, the reflected light? And as that reflected light sees, Arey, I am the sun. I am nothing, I am not other than that. But if that reflected light, sun on the mirror, is covered with mala, then wherever it looks, it will see itself only as incomplete. Same thing is in us. When there is no integration of thought and mind, thought and emotions, head and heart, intellect and mind, yin and yang, till then there is dirt. Till then there is mala. And when this, in the contemplation of the infinite, when this mala, which was existing in its own absence, what is mala? Body identification. What is mala? The variety. What is mala? Space-time objectivity. What is mala? Jati, guna, bheda, etc., etc. All that which was not there, it will, because of your attention is on the pure consciousness, automatically all the dirt goes away. When you are focused on the sleep, you don't do anything. The entire variety of the world just dissolves away from your mind without you trying to remove anything from your mind. Exactly the same way. Then when it is said that it is the bodha chakshushaha, you know that you are without a thought. You don't need any support of thought to know that I am. And what am I? I am that mass of consciousness. And what is that consciousness? It is beginningless and endless. Shuddha chid dhanama anadi, anadi vastu yad. I am the beginningless reality. I am that beginningless essence. I am that beginningless consciousness. And that consciousness alone is the Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. In this way, the Adi Shankaracharya ji is beckoning us, prodding us, inspiring us to meditate on our true nature again and again through all these verses. It's an absolute treasure trove for a seeker. All in the initial pages, whatever the Panchamahabhut, the Panchakoshas, all that was necessary to know. You can remove ignorance only when you know what you are not. And then it is important that what we are not, we drop it away. And what we are, we hold on to that. Be that. But what happens sometimes, inadvertently, not your fault, that even when intellectually we are convinced, but because the bhava is not done, subjectively we are not taking the knowledge, then this corruption remains. And after the satsang, after the meditation, we come back to being the body conscious person. Let's not fall into that trap. And as a counter for that, read these verses from 252, 253 to 264. All these are Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani, and raise yourself, in yourself, by yourself, for yourself, and realize. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you everyone for having me here, and
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you, sir.
Direction.
Swamiji, thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Where is our Amma?